baby.
Oh, we had money to
Went on in it.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear some of those old
Not on
tales.
camera.
Not with the latest president. Oh, good gracious alive. This is quite the something here now.
It is.
It's hard to believe.
We need to get it.
Boy, this is,
Well, I just asked him. He said he couldn't.
Oh, I'll eat.
this is just absolutely something else, huh?
So you used to be the manager for Flatt Scruggs, huh?
Well, Lester manager, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he, for a long, long time, over 10 years, up till he died. Very week he died, and
Wow.
after the very day he died, he wouldn't, tried to resign there about 6 months before he died. I said, Lester, you don't need me anymore, you know, you're in the hospital and you're just not in good health. No, he wasn't here to, he wasn't about to. He didn't have any business to conduct, but, you know.
Yeah.
But he just sentimental like this. This is really something here.
Good guy.
Oh yeah, he's the best. They just wasn't.
Yeah, I like the old Lester.
Oh, what a fantastic collection of pictures you got.
Yeah, I try to put some good ones in the bus. Everyone just really enjoys them.
Yeah, that's one of Jim and Jesse's group that I hadn't seen. That must be a, I don't know, not necessarily a later picture, but.
That's probably about 10 or 12 years old.
Oh, I should say, I thought I saw Keith in there. Yeah, he's in there, so it wouldn't be a recent one, of course. I never did see that one. I missed that one somewhere along the line. This is just something. Of course, the interior bears no resemblance to it.
Yeah.
But the outside is just. All they ever had, you know, was bunks and seats, the old regular old bus seats up front.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. They didn't do one thing to it. Just took out all the seats up. I think 3 rows back on each side or something. 2 rows or 3 rows back on 3 rows, maybe 3 on one side and 2 on the other or something. But they didn't do a thing in the world. They didn't put the carpet down or anything. It was very Spartan, shall we say. Just to get them there and back. That was all they was interested in. I don't guess they ever thought about customizing it, you know, really. Probably thought never entered their mind. Nobody else did, so why bother, you know? Probably something that just never occurred to them.
Bus was a bus.
Yeah, just to get them to one place to another.
Boy, I was just about to start my concrete job, just in there cutting my poly plastic there to put down on this little. The huge job, gosh, it must be this much concrete, real big job.
Oh.
I was getting on, put my vapor thing down there, just say you're supposed to put. I was going to do it yesterday, but
Why do it today? You can put it off tomorrow, right? Why do it today? You can put it off.
Put it off tomorrow. That's my motto. My goodness, this is.
So when you going to Owensboro?
Tuesday morning.
You going up there? You gonna stay for a while?
This thing will be the hit of the show. I'll tell you, it'll be a knockout. So you did take it by Martha White and showed it.
Yeah, we're kind of like their spokespersons now on the West Coast, you know, going to all the festivals.
Yeah, I guess Bobby Dale is gone from there, and he's president of it for all these years. Cohen's son-in-law.
Yeah.
He was. The deal was, it changed hands recently again, just in the last couple of months. And Bobby Dale, Cohen Williams' son-in-law, who's been president of it for all these years, ever since Cohen died, and he was vice president before his father-in-law died. In the paper, the little article in the paper about a month ago, I just saw it when it was about being sold again. The company that owns it sold it. It hadn't been independent for 15 years, I guess now. But sold it to another conglomerate there, and it said that Bobby Dale was going to stay with the Robert Dale is going to stay with the company that is selling Martha White. So he'll, for the first time in, I guess, 30 years, Bobby Dale won't be connected. At least 30 years, Bobby Dale won't be connected with Martha White anymore. So I guess he's gone from there now, I suppose. Somebody, I don't know who's taking over now as president or running anything, but
yeah, they had everything all mixed up in there, and just boxed up, and they were running around.
I bet it was a mess indeed, sure enough, because but Bobby Dale, I'd love for him to see it, because he was all, he was.
Oh yeah.
He traveled with Lesson Earl a lot, you know, go to some of the shows with him. He was really involved in the show a lot, you know. I mean, he was being with North and White, and no, it was first sold. Let's see, and about 15 years ago, Beecher's Foods bought North and White. You know, the company that owns, they own Hunt's Foods and a whole lot of. They into all kinds of businesses. You know how these conglomerates are. They own concrete manufacturing company or something, you know, and all that stuff.
Corporate Raider.
Yeah, they had Corporate Raider, exactly. They bought it, and then they sold it. Beecher sold it to another company who's now selling it to yet another
Pillsbury
Corporate Raider.
Raider.
Yeah, and so it's just all mixed up, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, it used to be Cohen Williams just ran it. That was it. He called the shots. Whatever he said, that's what happened. I mean, he just, well, okay, we'll do this. The decision-making process was just real simple. Oh boy, tell me he'll do this.
You want to sit on this side for a while?
Oh no, I'm taking it all in from right here.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Used to be on Lester Flatt's mailbox right over there.
Okay.
I got that from Blake Williams in Sparta.
Okay.
It says Mr. and Mrs. Lester Flatt.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, I'll be darned. Over here on oddly enough, 105 Bluegrass Cove. That was where he last home where he lived. He bought that house. But the Bluegrass Cove, of course, hadn't, as Lester knows, had nothing to do with bluegrass music. It's everything around here is bluegrass. The Bluegrass Country Club, and I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
I guess that's how it got started, from my Bluegrass Country Club.
Yeah, I guess it was. I'd say that was the first thing, and then a lot of those streets over there named as Bluegrass. You turn off on Bluegrass Drive, and it winds around over to the lake, and then you get off of Bluegrass Drive onto Bluegrass Cove, and that's where Lester lived, on the lakefront there. But a lot of those streets have bluegrass names, or have bluegrass in the name, and but yeah, it had nothing to do with bluegrass. But just what a coincidence that he'd buy a house on Bluegrass Cove, you know. He bought it from Roy Acuff in 1969. Acuff had it built. Decided to move back over to Ockerland area over there, but boy, this is.
Nancy, you want a beer?
I got something. No, I haven't. I say I got something in the house. I haven't a drink of them. I think I don't get one right now.
Sure.
I appreciate it, but I really don't. I'll wait a while. Wait till I get this job out of the way.
You better not get that concrete done.
That's the darn truth. I start on the beer. That concrete. Don't wait again yet another day. You know, just about it. This thing, as I started to say a while ago, was going to knock them. It'd be a knockout at Owensboro.
Yeah, they told me. I told them last year that I was going to drive it out, and the security says, "Well, if you drive that bus up, you got to park it right next to the stage, you know." So.
Oh yeah. Well, it'll sure draw. They'll run you crazy wanting to get on it and go through it.
Well, that's the truth. They will.
I don't mind. You know, I want to share it with
They would
everyone.
run you crazy. Well, I don't blame you. I would feel the same way.
Yeah, if no one wants this, I'm proud to have them come on this bus.
I know what you mean. I would be too, indeed. I sure would.
That's why I did it.
It's boy, I don't blame you a bit. These old flexes carried a lot of entertainers around, didn't they? I'll tell you what's the truth. They was a lot of them used, just like the 4104 came along. If you park it down next to the stage, it'll be there for everybody to see. It'll get a lot of attention.
What year was their bus? Do you know?
I sure don't know.
Does it tell all that in?
Yeah, it's got pictures of their bus in it.
Yeah,
Really? Well, I bet
picture of the
that's
bus, and sure, the delightful color picture.
So they got their first one from Farron Young?
Sure did. I remember when I saw them in Winder, Georgia. The reason I say 55, I know it was 55 or 56, and I saw them on January 31st. I went out to see them in Winder, Georgia, right out of Atlanta, because I wrote the date on the front of the songbook, and I've seen it so many times I just remembered it was January 31st of 56, and they was in the bus then, you know, first time I'd seen it. And they wasn't traveling in the limousine no more. And they said Paul told me they bought it from Farron. And Farron Young he had the first bus, entertainers bus in Nashville. Of course, Bob Wills was the granddaddy of all of them. He had one years before any of them did. In fact, I was
Well, he
finding out.
about had to though, didn't he?
Yeah, he had.
Means
You know,
he had
I
his
counted
band.
14 in one picture of one of his early groups at one time, and I didn't know till talking to the Chuckwagon Gang that they had a bus way back same time Bob Wills did. The Chuckwagon Gang did way back years before into the Nashville.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they were of course based out in Fort Worth then, and they saw Bob Wills and they just had to have one, so they got them one. And they come there and that night, and Earl was still on crutches from his wreck. He was playing the banjo on crutches. That was his first week out. The very first week he'd gone back on the road, you know, from his wreck on October 2nd, I think, of '55. His wreck over in East Tennessee, and that was his first week back out with the show, and he had two crutches, and he'd hold his banjo. And he'd get to the microphone, and he'd just lean into the microphone like this, just lean over and play, and then just come back and straighten up like this, you know, to get it further away or to bring it up, you know. And he couldn't move. He couldn't take time to go hobbling up to the mic, you know. So he did it real effectively, boy. He just leaned into the mic, you know, and the crowd loved it, you know. Got there, and that place was sold out. We got there. Just at 8 o'clock at showtime, just me and my wife, and we was holding Lanny, our son. He was 2 years old, and holding him, and got there, and they just started not to let me in. They said the place was just packed and standing around the walls everywhere, you know. And I said, well, I'm sure the hell you. And then Paul saw me, and of course he knew me naturally. And Paul said, no, wait, let him in, you know. And but that's the kind of crowds they were drawing. I mean, that's just indicative. They was on WSB television, and that's what they do. They'd work. Like a lot of all the entertainers did, except most of them had to do it with radio. They work every night live on these TV stations, you know, around this circuit, you know, Atlanta, Columbia, and all around Huntington, and then they'd work a town off of that show that night within driving distance of it, you know. And boy, I mean, all they had to do they was on Channel 2, WSB TV there at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, you know. So we'll see you folks. Couple of hours over here at Wanda, you know, about 35, 40 miles out of Atlanta. Or good gosh, man, 35 miles, I guess. And man, the people come in there, they just unbelievable packed. Just absolutely standing 3 deep around the walls and around the back, and all the seats full. And Lions Club, I believe, was sponsoring all that. But I mean, it's just unreal the way they were drawing people. But. Yeah, that's an old one back there. I ordered that by mail there. Send 50 cents for that. And
you've got most of their old memorabilia too, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a lot of it. I don't know. Nobody can possibly have it all. There's so much of it, you know. It's just.
I think I got just about all their songbooks.
Yeah,
you know?
I have
I've
too.
collected those. Some are kind of
I've got
tattered.
all the songbooks and some of those things is interesting. Of course, it's understandable when you think about it. We'll put out those songbooks with different colors of covers on them.
Yeah.
The printer, obviously, what happened, he'd run out of stock, and during the press run, maybe, but he'd get something else the same weight, you know, different color, you know. Like, I know that songbook edition, Radio Favorites #1, 2, and 3. I've got either 2 of them or all 3 of them in different color covers, you know. One's in blue and one's in a pink cover.
Yeah.
You know, but you get thinking about it, it's either maybe they reprinted it or you know, and didn't have that color in, or during the press run maybe they ran out, you know, and they bring some of that pink over and we run it through, you know, and whatever. But those things were really jewels. Yeah, this is something else. The Scruggs. I wonder how his boy's doing, Andrew. You heard anything from him? I've been meaning to call over there and just. You know, tell him I'm sorry to hear about it and all.
What happened? I haven't even heard.
They hit a tree. 3 kids were in a tree last Sunday night, and they're in a car, and they hit a tree head on.
Yeah.
All of them were in critical condition.
Pickup truck, and they were all 3 sitting up front in the cab.
You meant that's Larry while ago.
Yeah, I've been down there.
We've been up Larry Wonders.
They've seen it then.
Yeah, we just left.
I was going to call them, some of them guys, and I haven't think, well, shoot, they'll see it at Owensboro. So, you know, just my thought was, so now I'm going to call them, some of them, and get them come over Glen and some of them, but I think they'll see it at Owensboro. And it's
Tennessee, Hoolettsville, Tennessee. Stores from the 1800s. There was a murder there.